So a lot of people have asked about the Legmaker cold air intake that I installed a couple weeks ago, and I really didn't measure the base cold air intake temperatures. I do have a video for the JLT where I measured every single aspect before and after, so I'll use that video as reference to compare the Legmaker intake. So right now, let's take a look at, I just started the car about 10 minutes ago, and this is the intake temperature that is in the car, and we'll measure as we go, drive around, sit in a stoplight, sit in a parking lot, those kind of things, to see what levels of temperature the Legmaker intake will give the charger, since it's a combo Legmaker with a JLT intake box. So I'm hoping that the engine temperature shouldn't be so bad. So here's the temperature right now. Let me flip this camera. So you can see the air intake temperature right there. It was 100 when I first started the vehicle. It's rising to about 107, and we've been idling here for about, let's see, 1 minute and 20 seconds. All right, that's the standby temperature, cold air intake temperature. So I'll keep an eye on that and measure as I drive around the wife for groceries today. All right, stay tuned. So I've been sitting here idling for about 3 minutes now, and the temperature, air intake temp has risen to 114. It was 100, so that's 14 degrees increase, right? I'm still waiting for the wife to get out and join me here in the car, but let's measure how this goes up or go down as we drive. All right. So as I'm sitting here in the parking lot, the air intake temp has risen up to about 140. As you saw earlier when we were driving, it was 125. Never really got to 130 as we were driving around, right? So it has risen to about 140 right now. I'm gonna idle for maybe 3 more minutes, maybe 2 more minutes to simulate, you're sitting on a stoplight, what have you. Because as you guys know, idling is just a waste of gas. I'd rather use the gas to go fast, right? So this is how it looks like right now. I'm curious to find out what the idling intake temps of the JLT as compared to this Legmaker. We'll find out. I'll edit the videos that I already have on this channel about the JLT intake, because that's a very detailed account of air intake temps before and after. So this is going to be a comparison. So it's risen to 143 now. I seem to remember it was higher than this when I was using the JLT, but I could be wrong. I'll find out later. 145. So there you go. It rises. Just sitting here, obviously probably starts to heat soak in there. All right, but I don't think it's gonna go all the way to 160. Okay, so we were sitting here for maybe an hour. So that's the baseline cold air temperature right now, intake temp. We can drive around and you can watch it rise or drop. down, it went down to 140, 138, 140, and sitting at idle is 143 in the stoplight. So you can see how quickly it goes down several degrees as you drive. So as you guys saw, the intake temps quickly go down, right? We were sitting at 147 and we're driving around, it quickly goes down to 138. I'm pretty happy with it because I believe before this, I'm gonna have to check the other videos and I'll reference it here as a picture-in-picture. I think I went all the way to 150 or higher. To rewatch that video and put some clips in it in here so we have some sort of comparison between the JLT and the Legmaker. So hopefully, you know, this comparison gives you some sort of perspective on using a Legmaker intake on your Hellcat with a JLT box combination, which is what I have. So, and this video gives you that information to go about. Now, as I'm sitting, it rises up again to 145. All right. If you like this video, click a thumbs up. Subscribe, comment below, and okay, since heat soak is what we're trying to figure out, does the JLT Airbox prevents heat soak from occurring when using the Legmaker intake. It's 156 right now. I've been idling here for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I open it in the back.
Sounds good, mommy. Let's go get some lunch.
Okay.
Alright guys, here's the verdict of the LMI or Legmaker intake LMI. I reviewed the video where I installed a heat wrap on the JLT tube, right? So I look at the temperatures of that versus the baseline temperatures of just the regular JLT intake without the wrap. And I linked the video over here so you guys can look at it and review the actual temperatures. My verdict is the LMI intake temperatures, whether you're just idling or you're moving, is the same as the JLT intake. So that's the conclusion. The difference was when I heat wrap with the JLT tube, which the video is linked right here, there was a significant drop in temperature by using the heat wrapping the JLT intake tube, which means that it prevented heat soak on to the JLT tube itself. So it was an effective $70 modification, which the video again is linked over here, so you can check it out. But as far as the stock JLT intake versus the LMI Legmaker intake, they have the same baseline temperatures. They're at the same temperature. I'm just curious to find out, for those of you who have a LMI intake without using the JLT box, what your intake temperatures is. Or are, what your intake temperatures are when you're sitting idling or sitting at a stoplight and then moving around, what that looks like without the JLT box. I'm just curious because I don't have that. So I guess I can test and remove the JLT box and just leave the LMI intake in there and see what that would produce. It's a little more labor intensive, but you know, hey, if you guys think that's a something that I need to do, I'll try to do it one of these days. But again, to conclude this video, the JLT stock intake without heat wrapping it like I did, and the LMI Legmaker intake using the JLT box has the same temperature. So during idle and sitting around, it rose up to about 150, 156 degrees, and then as you move around, it goes down to 138, 139. Exactly the same. But when I heat wrapped the JLT tube, it didn't rise all the way to 150. It was just 148, 149 at standstill. It didn't heat soak as much, the tube. And when I moved around, obviously, since the idling temperatures were much lower, about 10 degrees lower than before it was heat wrapped, then it was much lower when you start to move around. So that's it, man. I surprised myself to find out that seemingly benign, seemingly useless, cheap modification of the JLT intake produce a much lower intake temperature. A lot of people did not. I mean, you can look at this video right here and see the comments below. Half of the people did not believe it was going to work, or it's worthwhile, or what have you. It was just an experiment on my end. But reviewing the video now and driving around using the LMI intake with the JLT box in it, I was quite surprised that heat wrapping the JLT tube produced a much lower temperature at idle. So it helped prevent increasing the temperature and heat soaking the tube and air around the tube. So that is, I mean, that's pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna heat wrap the LMI intake just because the carbon fiber looks so nice, right? You don't want to heat wrap anymore. I'm just gonna leave it as is. And maybe if you guys really want to, and depending on how many comments I get on this one and likes and views, and if there's a real demand of trying to test and removing the JLT box and just leaving the LMI intake in there and see what type of temperatures are going to be, if indeed the JLT box helped with the lowering of the heat soaking and temperatures, then I will do it. But I have to be able to see the level of interest out of these videos to be worthwhile to do, right? So that is it, guys. Hopefully this was a useful video, informative video to you guys. Is what I do YouTube, is to do this simple videos to inform, educate, and find out and get some answers, right? Get some answers on these modifications, if they're worthwhile or not, you know, because we pay a lot of money doing this, you know, upgrades for intakes and things, and are they really effective, right? So hopefully you are enjoying this video and you are thinking it's worthwhile. So like, subscribe, what have you. It'll help the channel a lot. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.